Morning, sir.
Very good morning. Echo. Somebody's mic, double mic.
Morning, Rangasan.
Morning.
Can you share the screen?
Okay, sure. Okay. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Right.
So 2 minutes to go, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
So you can start now, sir.
Good morning, everybody. This is Ranganathan again. This week we'll be talking about letter writing day, the part 2 of the letter writing day. Thank you all for joining me today. Here we go. This is the sand dunes of Tottori, which is a northern prefecture. And you can see the sand dunes ending almost near the seashore. Now, letter writing day 2000, up to 2000, we have done in the letter writing day 1. Okay, stamps issued, Japan issued a set of stamps on July 21st. Okay, last time we told you why July 23, Fumi no Hi, Fu and Me, 2 and 3. So Fumi no Hi, some days this may go one day this way, July 21st, 2000, to mark the letter writing day. So this time you see very odd shaped stamps. So I have picked up those stamps and put them there, circle, oval, and something other than oval or bigger oval, and then half semicircle, all that. They are part of a stamp sheet, and those who wish to purchase them had to buy the full sheet, as they were not sold as independent single stamps at the post offices. If you want to buy single stamps, there are stamps that are available for 50 yens. All the stamps, if you look at them, they're all 80 yen stamps, and the single 50 yen stamps, which are of regular shape, that's rectangle, and also sold at the post office on the same day, July 21st or July 23rd every month, under the letter writing day banner. Now, if you look at this one, I've shown you the independent single stamps, which are rectangular in shape. On this side, you have a letter writing day sheet. Now, this is the first time they are putting the sheet up. There are 10 stamps, which are a part of the big sheet. And then the 10 stamps are all 80 yens. So if you want to buy that, you need to pay 800 yens. And of course, single stamps are all 50 yens. They also have a souvenir sheet for the letter writing day, which has got 2 stamps. Okay, there's 2 stamps. One has got a 80 yen, one has got a 50 yen. Okay, now they're all the stamps from 1998 and 1999. The letter writing day 2000 stamps all depict the original illustrations by Dick Burma, illustrator of the picture books that are living in Holland. That's a picture book he has made. All these pictures have been taken out of that. Again, if you watch this sheet, the independent stamps, all of them will be making an appeal to the children, mostly, because what starts in the very early age still continues. That's one of the reasons Children clean the schools, their rooms, toilets, everything in the school when they are young. They go even at the age of 3 to go and buy things for the house, all alone by themselves. The society supports them. So Japan is a Otagai Sama society. That means we support each other's society. So the idea that whatever you start young lasts for a longer time. Okay, so the children are getting used to collecting stamps. If you see, many Japanese over a period of time had to travel out of Japan, business, everything. But almost all the Japanese I have come across and I've shown them my collections, I've always said we were also collecting stamps when we were young. So these stamps are being made with an appeal to the younger generation or the young minds of Japan. Now, if you look at this, apart from the full sheet and the regular stamps that you have, they also make a panel, what you call as a pan, as well as a booklet. On the left-hand side, you see a booklet which has got a cover. The stamps are folded and put inside the cover. That is the size of the booklet. And on the right-hand side, you have a pan. Then if you see these two, they have a collection of both 80 and 50 yen stamps. The booklet and pan are a combination of 50 yen and 80 yen stamps. 50 yen stamps can be purchased as a sheet or a single. The sheet will be full of this 4 stamps, used as settlement, vertical and horizontal settlement. And then a souvenir sheet with 50 and 80 and combination is also being sold. Now, Japan issued on 23rd July 2001 to mark the letter writing day. Again, the stamps are all odd-shaped stamps. They're a part of a stamp sheet, and those who want to purchase them have to buy the full sheet. This is the some of them I picked up and shown. There are 10 stamps always in the sheet. I'm not shown all the 10 here. Now, if you look at this, again, they have a souvenir sheet, which has got a 50 yen and the 80 yen. In this case, both the stamps and the souvenir sheet are 50 yen stamps. And then you see, now one is 80 yen, one is a 50 yen, because it's not very well visible in the top stamp. Now you have the 4 single stamps, which are again on a full sheet and also available for you to purchase on a single sheet. If you want to buy the odd-shaped stamps, you have to buy the full sheet. And then letter writing 2002. I've also shown a first day cover and the settlement pair of stamps. The four stamps are horizontal settlement. And then the yellow, bright yellow color. Again, you can see odd-shaped stamps are there. Some of the shapes don't have stamps also, but they are part of the design that they have made. And then you have the 50 yen stamps. Both on the top, I have shown you a single stamp, and at the bottom as a part of the full sheet that they have. Now, if you look at this is the letter writing day 2002, full sheet of the regular stamps on the left-hand side. And then you have a letter writing day pan and the booklet and the souvenir sheet and the first day cover, the whole gamut of the whole thing. And then if you see letter writing day, souvenir sheet, 50 yen stamp, okay, monkey and the letter, and then the 80 yen stamp says, let us read together. The idea of working as a team is always inculcated in the Japanese mind from the young age. Now, then they shifted down to animals, because animals, Japanese are animal lovers. There are a lot of idea of keeping pets, and then the children love stamps, and the children also love animals. So why don't you integrate them and put them animals in the stamps? So the sheet has got a thing, and of course, like what I told you last time, the elephant is more like an African elephant with much bigger ears than the Indian elephant. And then this stamps, odd-shaped stamps, are also there. And one interesting thing is owl and crane, they all find place in that because they're all supposed to be indicator of longevity in life. So that's one thing about it. Then you can see the full sheet of the 4 stamps in Saturn and letter writing day pan, and also a souvenir sheet with 80 yen and a 50 yen. Always you see a bird or animal carrying a letter and delivering it. And then this is a very interesting stamp. If you look at that, in the 3rd stamp, there's a boy with a cap on his head. That's a part of the Saturn and pair, and then the owl is there. Now, this boy, he should be reminding you of somebody. Okay, you all know there was an adventurous young man, a journalist called Tintin, whose story is very famous all over the world. Tintin comics are being sold left, right, center, everywhere. Now, this guy 3rd is called Cho-chan, and the Adventures of Cho-chan, Cho-chan no Boken, by Kabashima Katsuichi or Oda Nobunaga days. Now, Kabashima is a pioneering Japanese artist. He created children's tale about boy, princess, and a squirrel called The Adventures of Cho-chan, with writer Oda Nobutsune for Ashigraph from 1923. Cho-chan, his prince, visited strange countries like what Tintin has been doing, and worlds, and encountered with the weirdest fancy creatures. And making this poetic series the Japanese equivalent of Little Nemo of Slumber Bad. The strip ended in 1925, and the artist left the Asahi staff. We call him as a forerunner of Tintin. He was also a journalist. He has also traveled all over the world, met so many strange people like what Tintin has been doing. So he is a forerunner of Cho-chan was a forerunner of Tintin. And then you can see the next, again, animals, fairies, and birds. See, this is one picture where you can very clearly see the Japanese horse. The girl sitting on the Japanese horse. That is the Japanese horse, which is not so tall like the European horses, and also a little stout and bulky. But these horses are supposed to be very strong, and they can run very fast also. And Cho-chan is standing on the left with a letter in his hand. You can see him there. Okay. Now, letter writing day booklet is there on the right, and the pan is there on the left, and with the souvenir sheet in the middle. Now, if you see, Japan issued from 2000 to 2005 stamp sheets consisting of odd-shaped stamps to mark letter writing day. They were issued to attract philatelists and mainly children to inculcate the habit of writing letters and staying in touch with friends and other people. These odd-sized stamps, 80 yens, are a part of the stamp sheet, and those who wanted to purchase them had to buy the full sheet as they were not sold as independent single stamps in post office. Okay. Now, next we go to a different world of stamps for letter writing day. One of Japan's treasured traditional entertainment phenomena called Utagaruta. Utagaruta is what they say. Karuta is cards on which poems are written. Like it's a game that they play, Karuta game. So somebody gives the first line of the poem in a card, then you have to locate another card which will come match with that and complete the poem. That's sort of a game. Indeed, to this day in Japan, ancient poems are still widely beloved, part of the national curriculum from an early age, and memorized syllable by syllable, illustrated by the finest ukiyo-e woodblock prints artists, and regularly featured on special postage stamps issued for the annual letter writing week. So we have a letter writing day. Apart from that, there is also a letter writing week, annual letter writing week. We'll talk about it some other time later. But the ancient Yakunin issue, there is 100 people, one poem, is a phenomenon, is more than all of that. From The form of Japanese poetry most familiar outside Japan is haiku, the 17-syllable poem that reached the height of its development in the 17th century. But the haiku derived from the older but still popular poetic form, the waka, which had been used for 1,000 years before haiku. The word waka means Japanese poem, and it is a form of basic to Japanese literature that Japanese still study and write today. It is also known by the name tanka, which means short poem. About 1,000 years ago, a poet named Kino Tsuruyaki wrote. The stamp of the poet is also in letter writing day stamp, which I'll show you later. The poetry of Japan has its roots in human heart and flourishes in the countless leaves of birds. Because human beings possess interest in so many kinds, it is a poetry that they give expression to the meditations of their hearts in terms of the sights appearing before the eyes and the sounds coming to their ears. Hearing the warbler sing among the blossoms or the flowers and the frog in his fresh waters. Is there any living being not given to song? The song he meant was Waka. This is a song that he wrote about this, Kino Tsuruyaki. So that's what I have reproduced here. The song he meant was Waka. Waka is there. It's a poem in 31 syllables, arranged in 5 lines, 5, 7, 5, 7, 7 syllables respectively. For example, here is a poem written by famous Heian period woman, Onano Komachi, Flowers Withered, 5 lines. Though it's not 5 here, when it's written in Japanese using the Japanese alphabets and kanji, it's flowers withered, their color faded away, while meaninglessly I spent my days in the world and the long rains were falling. So that's a poem. It's been written in Japanese, but written in 5, 7, 5, 7, 7 syllables. Now, stamps have been made into this form, which we'll be seeing shortly. The original refers to utakai, in which imperial family and the nobility read waka, traditional Japanese poem in 31 syllables. You know, in those days, the imperial family also get used to its waka. The waka reading is one of those traditional events in the Japanese imperial family. It's called utakai hajime. That means song singing competition. During the mid-Kamakura period on January 15, 12,067, Emperor Kameyama convened a poetry reading at the imperial palace, which is recorded in the Gaiki Nikki. Nikki means diary, as an internal ceremony. Since that time, records of New Year poetry reading can be found down through the ages. From such evidence, it can be summarized that origins of the ceremony of the Utakai Hajime are traceable to the mid-Kamakura period. The Ogura Hyakune issue collection of so famous it's often used to refer as Hyakune issue. The Ogura is left out, which consists of 100 odes written by 100 poets for a period of 650 years, comprises remarkably few 500 lines in total, around 3,100 syllables. Now, because of these poets employed native Japanese words rather than the Chinese, and because the sound of syllables written in non-kanji hiragana script it's hardly changed in a millennium, because kanji is always, over a period of time they develop new kanjis come, old kanjis get slightly altered the way they use it. But the hiragana never changed, and waka are surprisingly comprehensible even today. Another intriguing aspect of the Yaku issue is a visual interpretation. Poetry and artists have invariably long-term linked in Japan, and via their fine art of calligraphy. Calligraphy is they write with the Indian ink and brush. The way of their writing is what you call as calligraphy. And woodblock printed books are their collection of these things, included many illustrations and notes. And yumifuda cards, that is reading cards have always featured portraits of the poets. One side, the poet will be there, the poem will also be there. Some fancier sets will also have illustrations of Torifuda. Tumifuda reading Karuta cards printed in Kanji and Hiragana. Torifuda Karab cards printed in Hiragana only. Okay. Now, the Hyakunin issue collection is a fundamental part of Japanese culture as Mount Fuji, cherry blossom, soya sauce, natto, that is a paste-like thing made of soya bean and rice. These are something very typically connected to Japanese and part of Japanese culture, day-to-day Japanese culture. So, and Hyakunin issue is also one of them like that. The 3,100 syllables or 4,000 beats are like an ancient plum tree with the deep roots that continues to burst into flower at the beginning of every year. That's what they say. 5 Waka poets and their poems have been chosen from the Hyakunin issue, the 100 poems and 100 poets, as representative ones for the 5 subjects respectively: spring, summer, autumn, winter, and love. The stamps depict so-called Korean Karuta, playing cards by Korean. We'll see those things shortly. The Waka is often said to have an upper verse, which refers to the first 3 lines, and the lower verse, which has got the last 2 lines. Though they have 31 syllables, 1 and 3 and 5. The haiku poem is based on the upper verse, other form called Renga, not Ranga, Ranga that's me. This Renga is made from altering the 2. First, a 3-line, 17-syllable verse, then the 2-line, 14-syllable one, each with a different poem for up to 100 verses. Okay, so haiku is maybe written by 1, but waka can be written by 2. The first 3 lines are written by somebody. It's a challenge for the other person. Come and finish the lower end of the poetry. Often we read Japanese poetry. In translation, the syllable count seems wrong. Okay, because when you write kanji and try to write in syllables or English from Japanese, the word count is going to be very, very different. So please don't read it or see it in English and say, oh, you said 5-7, 5-7. It's not like that. One reason is that Japanese words often cannot be translated by a single equivalent word in English. More important, however, is the fact that the English poetic forms are not usually based on syllables but on stress. Where Japanese poems rely on internal rhymes and sounds for their effects, English poems often use rhyme. Each language uses its special characteristics to form poetry, but all the poetry has its roots in human heart, is what is normally said. Traditionally, it is heart responding to nature that is most sung about. Kino Suriaki has hearing the warbler sing among the blossoms, the frog in the fresh waters. Is there any living being not given it to so long, to a song, to a song? So that's how he said. Now I'm going to show you the 5 poets and their poems which have been there. Now, if you look at these things, okay, let's understand the pattern. Your full sheet, which shows you as a certain and pair, the poetry and the poem and the poet. Okay, that means the full sheet has got on the left-hand side the full poem, but on the right-hand side you have 2 certain and pair, the poetry and the poet. Okay, and then the poet can also be bought as a 50th sheet singly, and if you want the other one, you need to take it as a certain and a pair of stamps or as a sheet. Now, if you look at this thing, this has got totally writing this form. This form has come in 2006, and from 21 July 2006, 80 ends, 10 sheets. So normally the sheet is always 80 ends, 800 ends, like the earlier time, and then there is a combination of and the 50ends is separate as a single sheet. Now, if you look at this two, I've given the numbers there, 2008A, 2008B, double cherry blossom, Koyama Yasuko, and Koyama Yasuko's picture is on the right-hand side. Yeah, One Morning Moon by Mitsuke Keizo. His picture is there on the other picture called, his other name is Gupto Kodaiji no Sadajin. Difficult guys, olden days. Right? Next is White Chrysanthemums by Miyazaki Ishiko. His picture is there. So like that, the poem and the poet, they both are there in the settlement pair of stamps. Now, I just also wanted you to enjoy the poetry they have made. So each poetry I have put the equivalent translation for you to see. There are 5 poets who have written 5 poems. The first is 8-fold cherry flowers that are at Nara, ancient seat of our state, have bloomed. In our 9-fold palace, quote, shed their sweet perfume today. Okay, cherry sweet perfume. When it's blossomed, you're able to smell it, the sweet perfume at the palace court. And then, when I turn the next one, when I turn my look towards the place where I had heard the cuckoo's call, the only thing I found was the moon of early dawn. Okay, he's trying to take the cuckoo's call in the first 3 letters and then the moon on the last 2 lines. Okay, if it were my wish to pick the white chrysanthemums bustled by the forest of an early autumn time, I would, by chance, might pluck the flower. Okay. Okay. White chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum is the flower in Japan. White chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum is a national flower connected to the imperial symbol. Then Mount Fuji is there. When I take the path to Tago's coast, I see perfect whiteness laid on Mount Fuji's lofty peak by the drift of falling snow. Okay, that's one. Then last poem is by Oe Mountain, the road to Ikeno is far away. Neither I have reached nor crossed its I'm sorry, give me a minute. Nor cross its bridge of heaven. This is the 2006, the poems for 2006. Now 2007, similarly, if you see, 5 Waka poets and poems have been chosen and as this representation thing. And again, the same subject, spring, autumn, summer, winter, and love. Okay. On this side, they also had a small sheet because I had the sheet, I could put that here. Give me a minute. Okay. And then there's a full sheet, like last time, 80th sheet, which shows the poet, first 2 lines of 3 lines of poem, and the full poem. Okay. It's I could buy that and get the first day cancellation and get the sheet. Okay. And this is issued on 23rd July, July 23rd of 2007. And then, of course, on the right-hand side, you have 10 stamps of a mini sheet of the poets alone. Now, the poet I talked to you about, Kino Suryake, is here the poet. He has written a poem, The depths of the hearts of the humankind cannot be known, but in my birthplace, the plum blossom smell the time. It is the years gone by. And then Emperor's Jitu. Those days, like what I said, that the emperor used to call for a Waka poem reading. So even emperors, they also used to write and contest in this. It is Emperor's Jitu Shiro. The spring, if you look at the season always finds a place in these things. The spring has passed and the summer has come again with the silk white robes. So they say, and are spread to dry on the Mount Heaven's perfume. So, and then the next one, Sarumaru Dayu, he says, in the mountain depths, trading through crimson leaves, the wandering stag calls. When I hear the lonely cry, sad outside the autumn is. Okay, the stag is maybe looking for his or her partner, and so he's making a cry. So he's saying that. And then Minamoto is normally Kanemasa, you should Minamoto Yoritomo, last time we talked about him. Here we have a poet. He says, God of Sumagate, from your sleep, how many nights have you awakened at the cries of standarlings flying from Awaji Island? There's a bird that flies from the Awaji Island. So how many days you have awakened? The last is Nijuin no Sanuki. She's a lady poet. She writes, like a rock at sea, the ebb tide hidden from view, in my tear-drenched sleeve, never for a moment dry, and no one knows it is there. It's a love poem. So she writes, my sleeve gets drenched with my tears, and never for a moment it never gets dry, and no one knows it is there. So that's a love-drenched poem. And then 2008, again like the same thing. Now you can see the layout of the full sheet has been constantly moving around, because Kaizen is one thing that's constantly needed. Okay, and then letter writing, ATNs is there as a certain here, and there's a 50N of only poets. Now, the mini sheet carries a portrait of 5 poets. In the full sheet, they picture along with their poems. From 2006 to 2012, the letter writing day stamp designs have been changing once in few years to make the sheets attractive to users, stamp collectors, and philatelists. Okay, so that's why you can see the layout has been changing, what is inside the thing. And then the 50N stamp is given as a mini sheet, 80N stamp is given as a full sheet. That is where the difference is. So somebody wants 50Ns, okay, you buy this. Somebody wants 80Ns. Normally, if I'm there in those days in Japan, at the post office, I buy both the sheets, because to me, I'm not going to tear and post them, but I'm going to keep them with me. That is the reason why I keep them. Now, this year, we have Murasaki Shikibu, a very famous lady, is supposed to have written the world's first novel, Murasaki Shikibu. She writes, meeting on the path, but I cannot clearly know if it was he, because the midnight moon in a cloud had disappeared. How very beautifully she has said. Murasaki Shikibu is one who is pretty well known in Japanese history for creating the first novel. And then we have Fujiwara no Sanekata Hasan. If your name is true, trailing wine of Meeting Hill, isn't there some way, even from the people's gaze, that you can draw her to my side? Again, this is a love-filled poem. Okay. Again, Sai Shonagon. So she is again a great poet and involved very closely with the imperial household. The roosters crowning in the middle of the night deceive the hearers, but the Osaka's gateway, the gods are never fooled. See, when you hear rooster making a loud noise, maybe you may mistake it for early morning and get up. But the Osaka's gateway, the gods are never fooled. There are two different things, but she's linking them up together, 3 lines and 2 lines. Okay. Kinto, through the waterfall, ceased its flowing long ago, and its sound is stilled, yet in name it never flow, and in fame may it be heard. This is a poem about a waterfall. And then Izumi Shikibu, it's Again, a lady poet. Soon my life will close. When I'm behind the world and I have forgotten it, let me remember only one thing, one final meeting with you. Okay. There's again a love-filled poem in which she writes to her lover and says, the last meeting I would like to remember even if I have to die. Beautifully written. And then 2009, again like the same thing, 80 stamp, full sheet, and then second and 80 50 single sheets. Okay. Then the same thing. Now, if you look at this 50 stamp mini sheet. Okay, there are Wonano Komachi. Komachi is the name in which even Komachi is one of the names of a Shinkansen that's running, very beautifully made, because they said Wonano Komachi is supposed to be a very, I don't know, the Komachi is supposed to be a girl of immense beauty in that area. So maybe that's why they call that beautiful Shinkansen as Komachi. Now here is a list of poems and the poets. Now, Onano Komachi has written this. Color of the flower has already faded away. Now, fading color as always becomes a part of it. You could see the other poet also written that. While the idle thoughts, my life passes vainly by as I watch the long rains fall. Rains falling, fading colors. Even in another case, another poet has also written that. They look at that and then personalize with their emotions and feelings. Poetry is nothing but expression of one's feelings and emotions. So that's very beautifully done. To Nara's brook comes evening, and the rustling wind stirs the oak tree's leaves. Not a sign of summer left, but the sacred bathing there. Okay, so this the summer is trying to sing. There are people who have written about summer, the singing of the that small insect, which is we call it as they call it a semi. I'm trying to get the equivalent name in English. Semi will make the cricket that makes a noise during the summer. Okay. Another poem is by Housi. An autumn eve, see the valley mist arise among the fir leaves that still hold the dripping wet of the chill day's sudden showers. Yeah. So again, it's connected to the season, autumn, and the rains of that period. So that's what it is. Next one is at the break of day, just as though the morning moon lighted the dim scene, Vishnu's village lay in haze of falling snow. Snow is falling, so it's naturally the season is winter. He's talking about early morning in a winter day. And the last is as Mount Arima sends its rustling winds across in our bamboo plains, I'll just be as steadfast I never will forget you. So again, it's a love-filled poem. As I told you, seasons and love are the topics. In 2010, the mini sheet is there, full sheet is there, and then the 50 stamps are there, the 80 and second stamps are also there. Now, Koko Tenno. Tenno is king. So, Koko Tenno is the king. It is for your sake that walk the fields of spring, gathering green herbs, while my garments' hanging sleeves are speckled with falling snow. So he's talking about winter, okay? Because the snow is falling, it is getting stuck to his hanging sleeves because you see the kimono's sleeves are loose, a lot of gap, it is hanging. So he walks around gathering some green herbs and the snow is falling on him. Even for a time, short as a piece of breeze in Naniva's marsh, we must never meet again. Is that what you are going to ask me? Again, a love-filled poem by Isaiah. So maybe that lover has told, don't meet me again. So maybe some of our poets could really enjoy it because there are a lot of good poets who they enjoy it and put it in our own language, the idea of this. on a mountain slope. Can you kindly mute your... Okay, thank you. On mountain slope, solitary, unaccompanied stands a cherry tree. Okay, except for you, lonely friend. To others, I am unknown. Okay, the cherry tree is alone. The cherry standing alone has got a lot of meaning, even after the triple disaster in 2011, when there's one cherry tree which is standing alone by itself. And people used to go and see the cherry tree, and not only just as a tree, but a tree that gave them a lot of hopes that if I can stand and withstand the triple disaster, can you not? That is the message that cherry tree does. And many such cases are there. And then the next poet, she writes, famous are the waves that break in Takashi Beach in noisy arrogance. If I should go near that shore, I would only wet my sleeves. She doesn't want to go sleep there, but she talks about the thing and getting wet. Okay, last one. Though a swift stream divided by a boulder is in its heading flow, though divided on its rushes, and at last unites again. This is again a beautiful poem. There's a rock in the middle, the river. So the Japanese always show flowing water and the rock. It says, if the river that's flowing, the rock is a lot more solid than the water, but the flowing water can soften the stone. So patience can definitely win over is what they talk about the river and the stone. Here in this case, he says there's a stone. The river gets divided, but again it gets united. So that's what again it's a love poem. 2012, the same stay way of making the stamp. Now you can see the details about the stamps are given. Of course, that is a more maybe some of my explanation is for people to get attracted and attached to the thinking, the way of thinking, the life, and what is happening in Japan. So it's more of a cultural journey into Japan through their stamps. Let me show him this. Even the fisherman's leaves on Ojima shores, though wet, through wet again, do not change their colors. Okay. The fishermen always keep doing, but their sleeves, because they're always in this sea, they may change the color. They may get wet, but they never change the color. Fujiwara no Tushiki Asan. The waves are gathered on the shore of Sumi Bay. And in the gathered, right, when in my dreams I go to you, I hide from the people's eyes. It's comparing, again, it's a love-filled poem. Though unsleeping night, longingly I pass the hours, while the day's dawn lags. And now the bedroom shutters are keeping light and life from me. Okay, next one. After one brief night, short as a piece of reeds, growing in Naniwa Bay, I must never long for him with my whole heart till life ends. Okay. If you can see, most of them they have more or less similar line of thinking, like a mariner sailing over Ura Strait with his rudder gone, where over the deep of love, the end lies, I do not know. When the ship's rudder is gone, the person who is running the boat, he or she will never know where they're heading. So, like that, he says, the end of lies, I do not know, is what he says. Now, 2013, again, there is a change in the style of this thing has come. And again, if you look at it, more attractive for children. And the philatelists, of course. The philatelists is also like children, they get very happy in seeing so many stamps in their collection. So, again, if you look at this thing, they made it into a 50 yen stamp sheet on the left. Okay, another 80 yen stamp sheet on the right. The sheet size has become less. Okay, but the number of sheets are remaining the same. So postal department still makes 800 ends out of this, and 15 to 10 500 ends out of them. And people like us, collectors, we buy both. Now, if you can see by 2014, there is an increase by increase by 2 years, 2 yens, and the stamps are being changed as self-adhesive. If you look at this stamps, the one, if you see it's 50 and 80 yens, and they're all perforated, you can tear the stamps individually, and then you can use them. Now, when you come here, you can see the stamp value is gone up by 2 yens. So letter writing day, 50 yen stamps has become 52, 80 yen stamps has become 82. Now, it is the same 10 yen stamps on both sides. And if you see, they are self-adhesive. You have to just peel them off and getting stuck on the thing. The job is done easier. Once, when I was there, there was also, you can make your own stamp. You go to the post office, stand in front of a camera, take a picture, you pay. But you pay not only for that. Then immediately from the machine comes a stamp with your photograph. So it's a pair. On the top will be your photograph, down below will be the stamp, you pay for it. And then you can stick it and then send it. It's a peel off and stick it and send it. That's an officially accepted postal thing. So just to make people to buy stamps. Okay. So there are different creative ideas people keep trying. Again, if you see, now it's a chain and it becomes self-adhesive, and you don't need to look for a gum. Way back when I was in UK and I went to the post office, and I had a colleague of mine who came from Thoothukudi. We were in a training, and then we went to the post office and then looked around for a sponge to wet the stamp and stick it. So there was a lady who was there. The old lady was like us, another customer to the post office. She said, "What are you guys looking for? A sponge?" I said, "Yes." She said, "We carry our own sponge." "Oh, that's wonderful. Can you lend us?" She showed her tongue out. So now you don't need to do all that. Self-adhesive stamps are there to take care of that. Okay, 2004, 2014 onwards, the stamp prices increase and self-adhesive. The colors have become more Japanese, not hard colors. You know, each country has got their own love and liking. If you look at these stamps, the colors are not very striking colors, very mild, pleasant. Blues are there, reds are there, but all of them not very harsh colors, very light colors. You see every year, 2015 again, very light colors, self-adhesive, 80 and 50. And if you see, there is always, you can see a owl, you can see a crane, and then stamps contain children and flowers, all those things. The crane, owl, etc., they're all for longevity. So when you stick the stamp and send, you also communicate your wish for the other person who receives it for a long life. Now, if you see, this is 2015. I want you to just look at the colors, how mild they are. They're not very harsh colors, and they're very natural scenes, and nothing special. It's sort of a maze like flowers and other things. They're there. If you look at that, the last one, okay, there's a carp streamer. So in the month of May, okay, this is in the July month though. In the month of May, all over Japan, you could see carp is it's a type of a fish that can swim. That can swim against very harsh currents also. Carp is something that gives you a feeling that you can fight, win, and then go against. So they want all the young boys to be like carps, so all over the place. So they say, okay, you in any hardship, you should be able to get over. So The carp steamers are there in the month of May, where they have the Boys' Day celebrated. So like that, some of the stamps must also give you some other education when you look at that. That's the thing. And then look at this, very different, but very interestingly, if you see this stamp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 different things, there are 10 different designs. But from now onwards, if you see, same design is repeated twice. Okay, 52 ends, the top, bottom, it's only a pair. Okay, they're reducing the number of elements to be designed, reduces time and cost. So repeat design. This is another way of this thing, letter writing there. I mean, innovation becomes a necessity out of so many factors. One of them is also cost, economy is a factor. So they keep trying. They look at this also, the same way. Okay, actually you got only 5 stamps. You repeat the stamps and then you also create them as a block of 4. But actually it is not 4, it's only 2 stamps. Okay, 2 certain end, and vertical and horizontal are only pairs. Okay, you have the stamps available to you. And look at this, very interesting. How many people use such a pen nowadays? But it's beautiful. The pen, I always love this pen. Ink pens are my choice. And unfortunately, ballpoint pen has taken the life out of us. Then this is too mild a stamp. Again, if you see, all the things are connected to eating. Okay, sweets, tea set, stars, and swan and ribbon. So this is 2017. Okay. Again, if you look at this, the face value was increased from 52 yens to 62 yens. Okay. Now the face value is increased to 62 yens. If you see this sheet, it's got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and not 10 stamps. So if you want to buy that, it's only 62 yens into 5 stamps. Okay, 2017. Okay, another one is 82 yens as a worth of 5 stamp. Face value is increased. Okay, to 82 yens. Now again, 5 stamps, and they are sold as 5 stamps. Instead of 10 stamps, you buy only 5 stamps. Why buy 10 stamps? Same design twice, but individually one design. So again, another change. Kaizen or continuous improvement in your thinking is what is needed. Now again, 2018, there was a change in the design. Fumino He is what is written there, which is letter writing day. On the letter writing day on the left-hand side, there's a card inside, which has got 5 stamps, 62 yens, okay, they're there. And there's 82 yens sheet, mini sheet is there. On the right-hand side, you can see the sheet, it has got two stamps. Actually, 5 stamps are repeated. Here, only 5 stamps, not 10 stamps, but they're 62 yens, change in the design. Continuously, things have been changing. This is 2018. 2019, if you see, these 82 ends. Now, in this case, 82 ends, they again went back to 10 sheets, 10 stamps, and these stamps, 82 ends. That is what 2019 thing is going on. And 2020, you can see jam, butter, salt, all. Okay, letter writing day is with food on your mouth, you can see. Again, look at this stamp price. It has become 84 yens, 2 yens. They increase, but the postal department keeps trying to increase by 2 yens so that the economy is maintained, the rates are really workable. This happens, and then the Japanese quietly accept it, and then they'll do. And then if you see 2020, they also have, see, if you look at this one, 82 yens has become 84 yens. Okay, 62 yens has become 63 yens. Okay, So when you buy 10 stamps, it's okay, 630. If you want to buy a single stamp, you need to keep 63 ends. Now again, these stamps come with a folder where the letter writing is there. You buy it, and then there is no watermark, and then the printers called fillet post. Philately at post is what the fillet post is. And then it's a mini sheet. Now if you see, they're all made by die cut and printing by offset lithography and self-adhesive. 63 stamps also the same way, offset lithography, die cut and self-adhesive. That's 20 stamps. So that brings us to the end of my presentation today. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Madam Aruna and Sanjeev Sahub-san, for joining us today.